Being depressed is not an excuse to act like a butt wipe. I made the mistake of telling a close friend of mine that sometimes anxiety can present itself with bouts of irritability, and that became her go-to. Which I wasn't telling you that so you could use it as an excuse, I said it so you could be self-aware about it and work on it. Every once in a while she would break down because she feels like a horrible mom for yelling at her kids and a horrible person in general. I threw a BoJack Horseman quote at her: "You can't just keep doing bad things and feeling bad about yourself like that makes it okay. You need to be better." She of course did not like that take, and our friendship died cause I was sick of her BS and she was tired of me calling her on it. You are also toxic sometimes, not just other people. I had a friend who thought that me telling other people to F off when necessary was like some kind of voodoo. This person rarely stood up for themselves and often complained about people taking advantage. Very nice person but with very little backbone. I bought us a pitcher at a bar when some butthole, who immediately on first sight rubbed me the wrong way and who they had complained about to me but who I had never met, came up to say hi and then proceeded to try and pour themselves a pint from our pitcher. Nipped that in the bud and loudly. Buttwipe got loudly annoyed in return about it, but I knew the people who ran the bar and got him kicked out. My friend acted like this was me winning the Olympic decathlon. They always complained about people taking advantage but they let them. Someone can get to know you well, and still not like you. Can't win them all. It took a long time for me to understand that it's okay if someone doesn't like me. Remain courteous and continue on with my life surrounded by people who do. There's a guy I work with, that for some reason or another, we just don't really like each other. We've actually got a lot in common and agree on a lot of things, but we just don't really click. Totally fine with it. We greet each other kindly and are respectful with each other, but that's it. She doesn't love you. Yesterday, my girlfriend broke up with me. We talked about it and she said she feels crazy because I did nothing wrong and everything about our relationship was great. She just doesn't feel the same way anymore and doesn't know why. The happiest I've ever been and it feels like it's gone for no reason. It hurts, man. It's a hard pill to swallow when a lazy, incompetent coworker gets promoted at work and you're left behind, even though your work is exemplary and you're doing your best to move ahead. Someone replied, as someone who has held various jobs for 30+ years, including supervisory, I suggest taking a hard look for the following. If the promotion truly is inappropriate, politics, favorites, etc., it might be time to take your talents elsewhere, or at least be looking around for when the job market improves. However, I have seen situations where one person works hard, and has a strong mastery of the technical aspects of a job, and yet misses the mark on one or multiple soft skills, teamwork, positivity, customer service. This stuff matters, especially when it's time to lead. If someone like me can build these skills, anyone can. If you suspect this is a need, talk to your best role model. Set goals with them, and ask for mentoring advice. Some employers have clear policies related to qualification, such as level of education, certifications, etc. In many point-based systems of employment, it can tip the scales. Look ahead at where you want to be in 5 years. Invest in yourself. Pick up the certifications or the degree you need. Make sure your employer knows when you've attained them. Some people have rough childhoods and a really lousy backstory, but a lot of the misery in your life right now is the result of your own poor decisions and you're the one who has to do something to fix it. I see so many people make terrible decisions and rationalize it by saying, I had a rough childhood, or something to that effect. You're gonna have a rough adulthood if you don't take it upon yourself to break the cycle of BS you experienced in childhood. You have to make the decision to try to be happy, even if it means getting therapy or help. I know so many people who've had terrible lives or childhoods where it's completely understandable that they're depressed or that they struggle, but so many of them have just resigned themselves to being unhappy or apathetic. Often it won't get better on its own. You have to make the conscious decision to try to figure out your problems and live a happier life. I had a rough childhood and I still deal with the consequences of that now. I probably always will, but that doesn't make it fair of me to become toxic myself. No one cares if you had a good or bad childhood. Maybe it's a fun little tidbit of info, but that won't make you seem like a better person overall. If I ever hear someone use the excuse of, I had a bad childhood, I'll either think they're lying or begging for the least amount of pity. Only for them to do the same thing and victimize themselves. An a-hole is an a-hole is an a-hole. It's nobody's problem to treat you with extra care. Assuming you're old enough to be aware of your actions and words. Genuinely bad people can be more likable than you. There is a person who exists just to torment people and is very toxic. But people like her. To the extent that they'll choose her over me, and she's asking them to choose, while I do not. I don't get it, but it's been a hard pill to swallow that they'll do it. And when she fails them they need me to not say I told you so. You are not special. You're not a beautiful and unique snowflake. You're the same decaying organic matter as everything else. We're all part of the same compost heap. We're the all singing, all dancing crap of the world. You are not special merely because you exist. Unique, yes, kinda. But you are special to someone, even if that is only your heavenly Father. However, you can become special, cherished, valued if you choose to behave in ways that are worthy of such praise. I've met so many bad people who, by changing for the better, repenting, changing for the better, became special to me and countless others. This is an important and beneficial one though. Your life is so much better when you realize people aren't scrutinizing you constantly. You're not especially dumb or unskilled. You're more or less, just like everyone else. Incredibly comforting if you let it be. That to someone in the world you are the villain in their story. You can't change their mind about it. You can't try to explain their experience to them because you aren't in their shoes. You could have done something totally normal to them that was horror to them and you can't change their mind nor should you try. It's just something you have to live with. It's not that you are necessarily someone's arch nemesis, but just that you have been the bad guy in someone's life at some point or another, even if you think you did nothing wrong. Remembering this helps me remember that other people are real and have feelings, otherwise I tend to act like everyone else is a soulless drone. It even might be small things. What comes to mind for me is how often I am pissed at other drivers, but never think how I must piss off people when I'm driving sometimes. I am the villain to their story just as much as they are to mine. Things like that help me to be more open to others' ideas, issues, etc. The world is more nuanced than placing the blame on the government or the media. Both of those entities are so amazingly broad as to encompass millions of people working in different capacities towards different goals. Some media is good and some media is bad, but some people don't want to take the responsibility to inform themselves and differentiate, so they just declare media bad. Same with government. Some public servants genuinely want to help their communities and work hard. Others are corrupt and hateful. Declaring these whole things as bad is just another way of absolving ourselves from our responsibility as citizens of a democracy to stay informed and engaged. It's okay to be wrong. It's how we learn. Learning is actually good. It's how we've reached a point as a species where, in civilized countries, humans don't have to be afraid that broken bones and minor illnesses will kill or permanently cripple us. Ignorance is not inherently bad, but it is a weakness that can and should be fixed. Intentional ignorance is you crippling yourself on purpose. The person of the opposing political party you're arguing with more than likely doesn't hold their beliefs for some malicious reason. A vast majority of the time, they hold their belief because they think it is morally right, and have tons of justified reasons for believing so. So you accusing them of being racist, or sexist, or liberal SJW and getting angry so quickly because they hold views you spent so much time demonizing makes you the butthole in the discussion. As in, don't start throwing out typical conservative accusations, SJW feminazi, or typical liberal accusations, racist, sexist bigots, just because the person you're disagreeing with isn't of the same political party. And not because they're actually behaving in those ways. That not everything you want to happen will happen despite all the planning, and what you see in movies is oftentimes unrealistic. I wanted my high school to be like High School Musical, but it was the exact opposite. Still, high school was very fun for me. No matter how much you plan your future 2 steps ahead, something or someone will eventually change your future dramatically. If it wasn't for luck, good or bad, you wouldn't be where you are today. For example, the number one predictor of success is what socioeconomic class you're born into. If you're successful, odds are you wouldn't be if you had been born into different conditions, or something didn't go the right way somewhere in your life, for example your lucky break. Hard work and talent is important, but it gets you nowhere without luck. A very large portion of your life is out of your control. You might get laid off despite being an excellent worker. Your significant other might leave you even if you're the most caring and supportive partner possible. You might be in excellent shape, eat healthy, and take care of yourself, and still get cancer. Your house might burn down, get hit by a tornado, flood, etc. None of these things happening mean you're a bad person, they are all just possibilities we all face by being human. You can do everything right and some people will still never see you as a human being. The corollary is that for the people who do see you as a full person, you don't have to jump through hoops for them to love you. They love you all the time, including when you mess up. When you find people in that second category, actively nurture those relationships. Of course, that comes with some difficult pills in its own right. Namely, those people who love you as a whole person won't necessarily include the people who should. Parents, partners, etc., and those folks still die, move away, gradually drift apart, all that. You're going to die and you have no idea when. Everyone you love is going to die and you don't know when. Your material worth won't make you a better or happier person, and your obsession with finding happiness is what's stopping you from attaining it. Your achievements and successes won't matter on your deathbed. Nobody cares how difficult your life is, and you are the author of your life story. Your ambition means nothing without execution. Time is your most valuable asset, you need to prioritize how you spend it. Also, those generic inch-long half-an-inch-wide trays that own 300 milligrams are hard to swallow. I like to think they were designed by seagulls. That you are the one most guilty of making your life harder. Be it through overthinking, underthinking, laziness, bitterness, greed, pain, general apathy, what have you. Think of all the times you put yourself before others and it came back to bite you. Think of all the times you put others before yourself and it, too, came back to bite you. Think of all the times you chose laziness over bettering yourself. Think of all the times you cared too much about bettering yourself and never stopped to take a breathe, smell the flowers, appreciating how far you've come. All the times you decided on a double bacon cheeseburger instead of a salad or chicken, or chose to goof off instead of study or get ahead of work. All the times you stuck too close to that diet, and didn't allow yourself the indulgences of life. Chocolate, speeding just a little bit on the highway, going out with friends and making a couple poor choices, doing something reckless, just for the hell of it. All the time you spent judging yourself for own missteps, when just about everyone around you has already forgotten them. All the times you held a grudge against someone who themselves were just operating for the benefit of their own life, and how your bitterness isn't really a grudge but simple jealousy. All the times you've judged yourself based on your intentions while judging others based on their actions. All the times you felt judged and how much you hated it. All the roads, paths, and opportunities you didn't take, out of fear, uncertainty, indecision, or a plain old lack of bravery. All the people you didn't cut out despite knowing how toxic they were. And all the people you cut out but still haven't apologized to, despite realizing it was you who overreacted, or maybe even to blame. And now think about all the times you've lied to yourself. How often you obsess over all of these missteps, mistakes, opportunities forever lost. Think about all the tricks and lies you've created to convince yourself otherwise, and all the time you've spent perfecting those lies. Lies that will never see the light of day, simply because they're meant for no one else but yourself. Think about how much time you've spent obsessing over your own shortcomings, rather than just doing, whatever doing may look like. Consider maybe that obsession is the reason you still make the same old mistakes, and that it's that very same obsession that is blinding you to new opportunities. Thanks for listening to Radio TTS. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell for more harsh truth. Click the right box for the Life Advice playlist. Let us know in the comments what you think about these pills.